Hey and welcome back. It's Kate from the blog sewingfromscratch.com, and today's video is going to be a little bit different than the usual tutorial or product haul. Today we're talking about sewing to sell. So maybe you've been creating stuff and giving as gifts, or even just wearing your own, and people are approaching you asking to make them things. Then now is the time that you're thinking about selling your creations. I would think it happens to most people who sew. You'll be approached by other people, friends or whoever, and say, hey, I heard you sew. Can you like fix the hem on this shirt or shorten my pants, or do you know how to add pockets to things? Because pockets. And the truth is, and the reality is, we don't want to do that. We don't like, most of us, if we are not in the alteration business, do not enjoy doing alteration. I know I have a basket full of things for my family that I am supposed to be fixing, and I haven't got done. So that kind of thing, I mean, if that's your thing, definitely go for that. You will always have work. I promise you. You will have to do very little advertising and you will have a ton of work to keep you busy as you want to be. So definitely, if that's what you want to do, go for it. Just get your ducks in a row and start, because you will always have work. But if you're looking to create original garments, or maybe it's stuffed animals or purses or different accessories, little booties, blankets, whatever you're trying to create to sell, there's a few things you want to keep in mind first. So the key point number one to think about is all the boring stuff, the legal stuff, insurance, regulations, stuff like that. So it's going to vary tremendously depending on where you are. I am in Canada, so I'm going to speak about my experience here in Saskatchewan, Canada, but just realize that your state or province or wherever you are will be different. So here in Canada, we need a registered CA number, and that's my business number, and that number has to be on my products when I sell them. So because I'm selling clothing, there are specific guidelines I need to follow, and I will link to the compliance Facebook group that I am in the description box, and that gives me a lot of information on the government website, where to find certain things and different stuff like that. So it is not just somebody on Facebook telling me what I need, it is actual links to the government regulations, and then there's helpful phone numbers and stuff there. And it was so easy to get the CA number. I literally applied online. It was $100. And the next day I have my number. Selling clothing, you need to have that CA number on your clothing, or you can have your business address. So the CA number is just easy, it takes up way less space, and that's what I chose to do. And along with that comes insurance. So I just got insurance from my local broker down the road. So I just went in and told her what I'm selling and all that. She called into the insurance people and she got me a quote, and I said, yep, sure, let's go, let's do it. And my insurance is very reasonable, and it covers what I have in my home, as well as it gives me coverage for taking things to shops, or if I go on the road for trade shows again, then I'm covered up to a certain dollar amount with that. The one thing I will caution with insurance is to make sure you're talking to your broker about what you're selling. So there's a few red flag items, I'm going to call them. So sleepwear is definitely a concern for children. They will want to know if you're selling that. That will make your premiums go up, and it may not be worth it to sell. Honestly, I don't sell sleepwear. Second thing is anything with drawstrings, so especially around the neck. You want to make sure you're mentioning that to your broker. Send pictures, or actually bring in a sample so that they can have an idea of what you're talking about, because those are hazards for children. Things like buttons or snaps, definitely mention all that. Make sure your products are quality products that you are confident in, and have something on your page that says, you know, if there's a flaw, bring it back to me, or dispose of it immediately. Don't let your child play with things that are cracked or broken. You know, check them regularly. If the drawstrings are coming out, all of that information you want to have on there, again, just to cover your butt. Point number two is taxes, and this, I'm talking all kinds of taxes here, people. So in Canada, we have income tax, we have our federal tax that we pay to the government on goods and services sold, so that's our GST, or if you're in other provinces it's called HST. And then we also have our provincial tax, which goes to our provincial government, and that is PST. So I'm going to go over them one by one here. just for the rules of in Canada and where I am in Saskatchewan, and things are going to be different wherever you are, so definitely check that out. According to the person who does my taxes, I do not have to pay GST right now because it is under a certain dollar amount. Once I hit that dollar amount, I will need to register for a GST number and then charge and claim GST after that point. PST, however, I do need to be collecting, and I do need to be reporting that, and I do need to get a PST number. So you'll need to look into that. It's on the provincial government website. If you're in Canada, if you're in the States, I would say there should be something similar. No idea though, so just look into it. Call your provincial office or something like that. You should be able to find a phone number online. As far as income tax goes, you have to claim every dollar of income you bring in. Every dollar of income you bring in, you have to legally pay income tax on. So you have to tell the government about every single income dollar that you bring in to your business or your personal self. So how this works for me, because I've had my own personal businesses for 5 years now, going on 5 years now. I just do invoices and receipts for when things are paid, or I do it all in one, depending on what the situation is. And then at tax time, I just add those all up, take that to my tax guy, and he figures it out. Typically, because I don't make a ton of money doing this, I don't have to pay income tax right now. As things grow and as my business gets bigger and bigger, yes, I will have to pay income tax, because when you work for an employer or business, like a corporation, and you're an employee, and you get your paycheck, on your paycheck you'll see your deductions, and one of those deductions will be income tax. And that means your employer is taking money every month and giving it to the government, so that at the end of the year you don't have a huge bill. Well, when you own your own business, if you're not remitting monthly income tax, a smart thing to do, if you know you're going to have to pay, is just put some money away every month in a separate account, and then at the end of the year it's not such a big hit. Or if you don't really make much money, then you really don't pay income tax. Okay, so once you get all that boring legal and tax stuff out of the way, it's time to focus on the fun stuff. So the first thing you're definitely gonna want to do is nail down the products you want. And I am guilty for this. I want to do like all the products, and I tell people, hey, if you have something in mind, just let me know and I'll find a pattern for it. Well, that is awesome and it is fun, and I do absolutely love those kinds of custom orders, but it's not great for what's on your page. So when you start out your business, focus on a few items, maybe like 5 or 6, get those nailed down really good so that you're really good at making them and they're high quality. And that's what you're going to advertise. As time goes on, you can bring in more selection into your repertoire, and then you can have more options for people to order. You want to have awesome pictures of these, like awesome pictures, as if you were on a huge company website and scrolling through, like say, I don't know, Dolce & Gabbana or something, and you're scrolling through and you're like, oh my goodness, their pictures are amazing. That is what is selling their products, people. That is what is selling their products. And I mean, Dolce & Gabbana is Dolce & Gabbana, so they'll be selling on their name too. But you need to have awesome pictures, especially if you're selling on a place like Etsy, because you get not even a second to make an impact on that person scrolling through. So if they're searching for baby rompers and there's 7,000 listings and yours is a crappy picture, they're gonna scroll right by. They're gonna scroll right by onto that next picture, could be right beside yours, and it's stunning and it is styled perfectly, and it's on a little baby who's cute and she's just adorable, and she's got the cutest little hair bow in her hair, and she's wearing that romper. That's what's gonna sell your products. That's what's gonna sell your products. I don't care if that romper is made of slave traded material and the seams are falling apart and the thread doesn't match. Don't care. That is the prettiest picture, and that's the one I'm buying, because that baby is happy and I want my baby to be happy. So make sure your pictures are high quality. You're gonna hear it, that's people say don't use your cell phone to take pictures. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think cell phones have come a long way from like the flip phone grainy camera images. if you're using that, definitely don't use that. But if you have, you know, a really high quality camera on your phone, like the new phones are, Samsung or iPhone, they have super high quality images, go for it. Just remember, those images still aren't going to be large file sizes, so the bytes on them, I think the pixels aren't going to be great. So if you're blowing it up, they just won't compare. DSLR camera or even a point and shoot camera, like those, like Sony or whatever you get, like the little ones, little digital camera that we all had in like the 2000s. Yeah, those are good too. Definitely better than a cell phone for if you're blowing an image up. If you're just having like images on Facebook, I would say a smartphone is fine. Just make sure you're editing your images and doing some little tweaking. I'll link in the description what I use for all my editing. And then really a cell phone would be fine for social media like that. Etsy, I would say invest in a camera if you can, or save up for one, because a lot of people browse that online, like on their actual computer or on a tablet, and then the images get bigger, and again, as they blow up, they can get a little bit skewed or grainy or just not clear and crisp like you want them to be. Another reason you only want to focus on a limited number of options is because people get overwhelmed if there's so many options and they're scrolling through and they're like, I thought I liked this one, but now I like this one. I'm just going to take a break and log off, and they never come back. Point number 4 that I want to talk about is pricing. And this is a question I see again and again and again and again and again and again. How do you price your items? Now, you're going to find a lot of different methods, a lot of different opinions out there on how to price your items. And what I'm going to suggest to you, because I don't think you should just take one hard and fast rule, because that's not going to work for every item. Find some of those groups. In Canada, we have So Canadian, and I'll link it below here. It's a Facebook group and it is so helpful, and there's a lot of information in there. If you just go into the search bar and search pricing or price, you'll get a whole bunch of posts about what people price their stuff at. So read some of those comments. There's another sewing group on Facebook I'll link to, Sew and Sell Simply, and then kind of see what other people in your marketplace are doing. So go to some of your shops that have inspired you, see what their prices are set at. I mean, you don't want to just copy that, because we don't know what they're using in their sewing room, right? We don't know. So you have to do your own work, and it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work to figure out your prices. It's not just like, oh yeah, this is the fabric and then I'll just mark it up a bit. No. Some people do that. If that works for them, fine, but I do not recommend that. So I'm going to tell you what I recommend doing. So I take a meter of fabric or a yard of fabric, and then I take my pattern pieces and I lay them out on top, and I see how many of that pattern I can get out of 1 yard. It might be 1 hoodie out of a yard of a certain size. It might be half a pair of pants, adult pants, out of a certain size. It might be 4 tank tops out of 1 meter. I do that for each pattern that I offer, and then I write down which size range. If you go to my custom sewing page, Bucky and Babe Originals, and you go to my price list, you'll notice that there's size ranges and there's prices for that size range. So the smallest size range, I can fit, say, 1 on a yard. The next size range, I can only fit 3/4, and then the next size range, maybe I can only fit half of that item out of 1 yard of fabric. So then once I have that number, I take the maximum price of fabric that I use for that garment. So the maximum I am willing to pay on a yard or a meter of fabric is $30. That is what I use as my number. Also make sure you're factoring in shipping and taxes on top of that, because that is the cost of getting your fabric. And then once I have that number, so now my fabric is covered, now I take into account any notions that I'm using. So that includes thread, of course, every garment has thread. It includes buttons, it includes snaps, zippers, elastic, interfacing, absolutely everything that goes into that garment to take it from a pile of things to a beautiful sweatshirt or whatever. You need to have listed out, figure out how much it costs, and add it up. You're also going to add in your tags. If you always, always, always include your shipping and your taxes, because you have to pay that. If you're not passing that fee onto the customer, you're paying that out of your pocket, and your business will be in the negatives and you will go bankrupt. So make sure you're adding in all the fees and shipping, including if there's customs fees or FedEx, UPS, whatever. If they have their extra fees, you're charging that, because that is your cost to get that here. The other things I add on are things like sewing machine. There's a cost to upkeeping my machines. One day these machines will die and I will have to replace them, and that should be a business expense. So you're going to want to be building money into your business so you can buy things like new machines, new cutting mat, new scissors, stuff like that. So I do a fee for my machines, and I also do electricity fee. So it costs money to run these machines, not just the actual machine itself and having it maintained and wear and tear and things like that, the blades, but it costs electricity to run this machine. You can write off a portion of your electricity bill if you are sewing in your home. And then the last thing I add in is my time. And time is just, it's hard. It's hard to figure out what your time is worth. If I was doing something like totally custom products, like say wedding dresses or something like a tailored suit or things of that nature that require tons and tons of concentration and like fine work and that kind of thing, I would be charging probably 10 times more than what I charge now per hour, but I'm not. So what I charge now, that is what I would bill myself out with if I was taking a paycheck, which I don't. So then I add up all those numbers, and then I kind of see where I'm at, and then I use my comparable numbers to see how I stack up. And then sometimes I'll increase my number a little bit, and sometimes I'll be like, oh no, can I cut costs anywhere? If it's too much and I can't trim any fat off, then I take that down from my shop and I don't use it. It's tricky and it takes practice, and at first you might not be charging enough and you might find that you're not making any money, you're just paying the bills kind of thing. Then you go back and you adjust, and you know what, that's fine. You don't have to explain that to anybody, but if you want to, you just say, you know what, growing pains. And then once you have your prices set, make sure you write them down somewhere, and also have them on your Facebook page or your Etsy page or wherever, so people can easily access them. Because mine is on my Facebook page, like pinned to the top. As soon as you go to my page, you can see it, and I still get questions all the time. How much is this? How much is that? So I just have a book where I write it all down. And then getting back to undervaluing yourself. So when you charge less, significantly less than the market value of something, at the end of the day, you're going to have no more money to buy new fabric if you want your business to continue, number one. And number two is you're undervaluing yourself as a maker. You're making people think that your work is less than it is because they don't know what actual fabric costs, and it's making them think that there's very little cost to what you've made, and that even though you might not actually be making money on that product. That's one thing, is you're going to be undervalued as a maker. And then when you go to buy more fabric, and when you actually have to increase your prices, there's going to be a sticker shock, and people are going to be pretty upset and think you're like not authentic because you just like jumped up your prices so much. Even if you have an explanation, they might be kind of hurt by it. So don't undervalue your products. The other thing that does to the market, to me and to other companies who are selling, is it makes them look bad, like really bad. If somebody comes up to my booth at a trade show and they're like, well, I can get this $90 item for $50 from my neighbor, I would be like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that's nice. I mean, I am not rich. I am not getting rich off this business anytime soon. I sew because I love to sew and I love to make new things. I love fabric. I mean, I don't know what I would say to that. I would just say, well, go ahead then, because I don't know. I don't know what I would say. But what I'm getting at is that it just undervalues the market, and it kind of cheapens it. And anybody who is a passionate creator and knows the work and the energy that goes into any form of art or crafting or making, you understand that, and you yourself is willing to pay for that. You know, I'm willing to pay for a handcrafted pottery item. I am willing to pay for a handcrafted bracelet or necklace because maybe I actually know the person who made it, which is so cool. And even if I don't, that my order, they appreciate that so much, rather than if it's coming from a factory, and they might remember that like years down the road, like, oh yeah, she ordered that from me that time and she really liked it, and I remember she gave me a great review and we chatted about it over Messenger for like half an hour, and you know, she sent me pictures and something like that, you know. So supporting local or small businesses is really important to me because of that reason. And other than that, it's like, if it's a full-time shop or somebody who's trying to be full-time, it's like, yes, I am paying your bills, or I am putting food on your table. And it just gives you, I don't know, it just gives you a sense of feel good. You have all the legal stuff figured out, you have your products figured out and the prices, and now, like, who's gonna buy it, right? Like, I want somebody to come and buy my stuff. Number 5 is patience. I need you to be able to have patience. And I do not have patience. I am not a patient person by nature. I really have to work at patience, and I have to remind myself, like, I'm just starting out. Those people with 10,000 likes on their Facebook page, they started from 0 too, and it takes time to build a business. And I just want to like go. I have so many ideas for, you know, when the business is grown, but I need to kind of scale back, and I need to just sit back and remember, like, I'm a newbie in this world, and as much as I don't feel like it, because I've been sewing to sell for a long time and just not had this company, this company is a baby, and I need to nurture it and grow it, and it needs to grow organically. But there are things you can do to grow it. If you just like set up a Facebook page, or you just put something up on your personal Facebook page one day, and it was like, yeah, I'm starting to sew to sell, so get at me if you want something. You might get some orders, but it's not going to be anywhere near what you want. What I've done and what I recommend doing is starting a Facebook page for your business. I recommend joining different groups on Facebook that you can share that to, and getting to do that as much as you can. Invite friends to like your Facebook page and get them to share it for you. An Instagram page, because a lot of younger people, like even my age and younger, are on Instagram only and not even on Facebook nowadays. So be on Facebook, definitely be on Instagram as well. Facebook is better for your business because there's actually like clickable links, and people can easily message you or comment on a photo and like tell you that they want it, and that can happen on Instagram too. But Facebook's just a little bit, as much as I hate to say it because I don't like Facebook, but it's more user-friendly for a business, I find, than Instagram. Other things you can do to promote your business is gift cards. So have some gift cards. You know, if people don't know what they want, you can have gift cards available to give for people to give as gifts and things like that. Or if you're going to a trade show or something, you can give away a gift card. If your child has a school play and they're looking for raffle donations, give a gift card. Highly recommend that. If you give a gift card, then people are more likely to want to use that and come back, and then if they like your products, they will keep coming back. Not only did they just use up their $10 gift card, but they bought more on top of that. So it brings in more business and people who I'm hoping will be repeat customers as well. Another great way to get likes and shares and feedback is from giveaways. There's a lot of businesses doing Mother's Day giveaways. So, and to enter giveaways on Facebook, you know, you have to like, share, and comment. Well, what that does, like, shares, and comments, is it tells Facebook that you are popular, that post is popular, and it's going to show it to more people. So Facebook runs on an algorithm. And if you don't know what that means, it means that they have a little code built into their website or their app, and they're not going to show you, like when you log on to Facebook, you're not going to see all your friends' posts in chronological order. That's not how Facebook works anymore. It used to be like that, but not anymore. So what they do is they take the most popular and the most relevant, and that's what they for what they think you want, and they show you that. So if my page has all of a sudden one post goes viral and I have like 10,000 likes and shares on it, they're going to show that post to more people who like it, as well as they're going to show the shares, more friends of the people who shared it, if that makes sense. So if you shared my post and it went viral, they're going to show that post to all your friends instead of just like a select few that might see it if I had like 4 likes on that post or something. Giveaways are good for promoting your page. So the biggest thing is just it takes time. You want organic growth, but you also need to work at that organic growth, and it's an everyday thing. You want to be active on that page. Be personal too. People want to know who you are, what you do. So if sewing to sell is something you are looking to do and you have more questions, definitely leave something in the comments for me. I'd love to help you out. And hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more videos. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I just realized I forgot to take my glasses off, and did you notice this? Now I'm pointing it out for all of those of you who didn't notice. My glasses broke. They've basically been broken since I got them, maybe like 6 months after I got them. The arm would keep falling off and I would just have to like tighten the screw every day, and that was like 9 months ago. And I didn't ever go to get them fixed because I was like, well, I can just tighten a screw every day. And then the day came where that screw didn't tighten anymore. It must be stripped out. And this was like 2 weeks ago, guys, and I still haven't gotten to the eye doctor to get it fixed. So I'm just wearing taped up glasses. Obviously, if I go to the city or something, I just put contacts in. I meant to take my glasses off for this video, but I forgot. So I'm just rolling with it. If you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at? Catch you next time.